Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all staying well. Here's another unboxing, and this one came today, 29th of September 2020 from Hobby King. Let's open it up and see what's inside. It's a 750mm with orange stabilisation Hawker Hurricane. It's a Mark IIB, and it says it on the box. It's the RAS workhorse of World War II. The scheme of this Hurricane is a copy of a restored aircraft, so it exists in the real world. And here's some pictures. This goes very nicely with the A1 Sky Raider, with the P-51 Mustang, and with the Hawker Tempest. Let's get the parts laid out and take a closer look. Okay, there are all the parts. Something I would be asking Hobby King is there another way you can do this without the plastic? These two here are okay, because they've got zip ties, so I can use those bags again. The bag covering this and the bag covering that are just really not much use, and they contribute to the plastic pollution. It would be nice to see if they could cover them in some sort of tissue paper instead of plastic. But that's my let's be kind to the planet gripe out of the way, so let's take a look. So we'll start by looking at the horizontal stabiliser and elevator. So this is a foam hinge. Looks very good. I will be putting some foam tack glue along it just to reinforce it. The moulding's excellent. The ribbing to show that this was a canvas tail end is excellent. Single horn screwed into a backing plate. And then you have this big U-bar which connects the two sides of the elevator together. You need to flex it quite a bit before you connect it up, but very well painted. It looks great. Here's the vertical stabiliser and rudder. Again, nice mouldings. Very nice mouldings, to be honest. Red, white and blue. Horn already connected. And some wooden pegs, which I believe slot in there. Take a look at that. I think they, literally go down like that. There you are. And that whole piece goes onto the fuselage, and then it's attached by screws. I don't even think you need to glue this piece in. Let's keep them separate for now. And then we have the wing. 750mm. Great panel lines. Gun covers. And here you've got two indents where you put some cannons. Or not, depending on what you wish. Lovely paint camouflage. British roundels. Yeah, it's good. Here's the place for your undercarriage. You literally clip it in and there's a hole for a screw on either side. Some sort of radiator here. I've never worked out what these were for. Whether they were for, one was for oil I believe and one was for just general cooling. This has two little wooden brackets that obviously engage with something in the fuselage. It lies down on these runners. Then you've got a single screw that goes in there to screw the wing on. Cutouts here for your fuel tanks, drop tanks. Very nice. Very well moulded. Does look smart. Of course the servos are already connected. It's interesting that the lowest hole on the servo horn is used. I would have thought it would be higher up, so I will have to check that out. But the push rods are connected and they've got fuel tubing to keep them shut at the other end. Yeah, it's nice. And if this flies like the others, it's going to be gorgeous. Love the colour schemes, the red and the orange. The grey, which is a bluey grey, and the green, lovely. In this white box we have the two fuel tanks. I might not be bothering with those ones, I think it looks nice without them. We've got some grommets, some screws, some clevises, aerial, velcro, cannons, all in that bag. Screws to connect your undercarriage. And I guess the last thing out of there, that box, is your undercarriage. There's one wheel. Got a bit of detail on it, got all this plastic fairing and everything. Screws into the plastic covering. Lock it in place, it's very nice. Well, obviously they need to space the wheel a bit because they've got a nut on the inside of the spacer and a nut on the outside. And then they've got a C-clip holding all that on. If I use this undercarriage, I will be putting a drop of foam tack over the front on top of that C-clip just to hold it in place. Yeah, they do look smart. There's the other one. Same. Yeah, very nice. Oh wow, look at this. This is gorgeous. Wow, pegs. Pegs? P-E-G-S or P-E-Q-S? Lovely little pilot in there. In the cockpit. I'm guessing that that's where you put your Allen key to release the motor, because again I suspect that this prop is a 3 blades. That's interesting. I'll have to check those blades because they look the same as the blades on the Mustang and the Tempest, and if they are, that means I've already got spares for these. And I suspect that you have to unscrew the grommet. The motor will just pull out then there'll be a screw on the back plate which will release this spinner, and then you've got your prop. Yeah. The back half of this is again moulded to look like it's canvas covered, which it was on the real bird. Electronics inside, you've got a speed controller up here, stabilizer, your Y leads for your ailerons, 2 servos, rudder and elevator. And the rudder has 2 rods, which means this is a steerable tail wheel. And this here, is the hatch. So you've got your JST connector, and then here you've got your single connectors just go onto the signal wire for your elevator, aileron and your throttle. Flight mode is so you can go stabilised or AS3X. And it'll be interesting to see because there's a bulkhead here, but there's plenty of space up in the nose. So I would think you put your receiver here next to the bulkhead, and then the battery's got plenty of space to get shoved down there if you need to. Although there is just a Velcro pad on a piece of board here. Yeah, very nice. This isn't a new plane, by the way. This has been out for 8-9 years. It's been released in different guises by different companies at different times. Top Flight, FMS, Hobby King even brought it out without a stabiliser. Very touchy and twitchy without a stabiliser. But it's great to have it. It's great to have it in the collection. And I'm hoping they bring out the Trojan and they bring out the Corsair, which is also part of this set. Because this stabiliser just totally changes the flying characteristics of these planes. I will leave a note or a comment within the video about the prop blades. I will confirm if they are the same as the Mustang and the Tempest, but upon closer inspection they look the same. I've added this in as a last minute. It was actually recorded on a different day, but I just want to show you this. I was absolutely correct in that this hole here is so you can put an Allen key in under a grommet in an engine mount and the motor can be pulled forward. I then noticed there's 2 grommets either side of this piece. I undid those to try and slide the whole prop combined spinner off and it wouldn't come. Even with these undone, whatever this piece is, it just wouldn't slide forward. And I think I know why, because the shaft goes right the way from the back of the motor right the way forward. So what you have to do is put a screwdriver onto the back plate, and there are 3 screws here on the back plate that you have to unscrew. Now they're self-tappers, so be very careful. They're crosshead screws. When you unscrew them, you can of course take the spinner cap off. Then you're left with this configuration. This had a washer over it, and then it had a self-locking nut, a nylock nut, over the top of that, holding this whole setup onto the shaft. And if you turn it upside down, you can clearly see that each is separate and it's screwed in. And if you take it out, that is exactly the same you get on the A1 Skyraider, Hawker Tempest and the Mustang. The only difference being is that the tip of the prop for a Sky Raider is white, red, white. If you have any of those aircraft in this 750, 800mm range, you have spare prop blades for them. You also end up with spare prop blades for the Hawker Hurricane. They are identical. So there you have it. The prop blades are the same. The other thing I'd add is that once you've released the motor from its mount by using, it looks like a 1 or 1.5, it's a 1.5mm hex wrench, you can pull the motor out. Then if you're very careful, you can keep pulling on the speed controller wires and the motor will come away at least 2 inches from the front of the fuselage, which gives you more room to manoeuvre it as you unscrew the back plate of the spinner. So yeah, I'm glad we've cleared that up. Spares for this are not available at the moment. Hobby King claim they'll be available at the end of November, I think. So I bought 2 of them. What an idiot. I bought 2 of these thinking that if that is a one-piece prop and I break it, I can't fly this. But for the price, I mean, God, I'll have one just as a display model, and if I need it I'll use it as spares, but otherwise this is the one that's going to be flown. It's a good piece of kit. So thanks for watching, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you on another video. Cheers.